Hello, and welcome back for another review on airsoft guns and equipment by Battle Turtle. Here we have today the Double Eagle Trishot shotgun. See the box it comes in, the shot shell with belt, and the gun. Now when you order one of these, it actually does not come with the shot shell and belt. This is an addition of my own. It actually will come with between 1 and 3 shells, depending on who you purchase from and which maker. You see I've purchased numerous other shells over time. It's just very useful to have. You never know when you need them. So I'm going to go over the pros, the cons of this gun, what it's good for, what it isn't, and some of the things that people say they don't really understand real guns, who seem to think this is actually acts like a real shotgun. First, so what it comes with in the box, it'll have the instructions. As I mentioned, 1 to 3 shells will come with it, and the gun itself. It comes with a sling. This is not the sling. This is actually an SKS sling I purchased online to add. It's a little more durable, it's easy to attach, and it's fairly inexpensive. It's well worth the money. And that's about it. If you want to add additions, I do recommend, again, getting extra shells. Though the most I've ever gone through in a single game round is about 7 or 8 shells. I just kind of overdid it. It also looks more impressive. Purchased the belt online as well. But it's well worth getting, as not just to have extras, but I've also had one of these shells break on me. It actually got jammed in the gun and I had to pry it out, so it's good to have extras because you never know when it's going to go bad. So we'll go over the gun itself, what it's made of, and how it works. And the gun itself is pretty much all plastic. The whole thing's ABS. It's got a rubberized grip on the front, on the cocking handle. It's got a rubberized grip on the pistol grip, so it makes it a little easier to handle, a little more comfortable. It has a safety right here on the trigger guard, behind the trigger. Down here is the magazine release. This is actually where the shells go into. Insert here, close it, they're ready to go. Each shell holds 30 BBs, which amounts to 10 shots. Each one shoots 3 rounds. It's fairly easy and light to cock, doesn't take much effort. It runs at about, it says 300 odd FPS. When you have .20 BBs, it's more like 280 FPS. When you get down to .23s, it's like 250 FPS, so it's not particularly a powerful weapon. If you look down the muzzle, if you might be able to see, it has 3 separate barrels. That's how it gets the 3 shots at one time. It doesn't all come out of one barrel. It comes with 3 separate barrels shaped like a triangle inside of the gun. It's a pretty neat little design that they came up with. Of course, it's a copy off the Tokyo one. It's quite ingenious. They tried to get a shotgun style shooting as far as shot goes with a airsoft gun. So I can at least recommend, and I should say not recommend, I can at least commend them for coming up with that idea that they actually had to try to make it act more like a shotgun in a spring platform. It has a little mechanism here that separates the shot into 3 barrels when it fires out, and it's really neat to watch. Everybody seems to love these. Everybody recommends them if you get a shotgun. They're light, they're cheap, they're easy to find. But for this one, I'm actually going to do it a little separate. Most people will go with the pros and then cover the cons. And this one I'm actually going to cover the cons and then the pros. The reason I think the cons really kind of outweigh the pros with this gun. I know everybody keeps pushing it. Oh, you got to get a tri-shot. You got to get a tri-shot. What's the point of a single shot? A single shots are worthless. If you had to see my former video about the S&T 870, or as well as the same line of other 870 airsoft shotguns, you understand actually single shots have a lot more pros than they do cons over the tri-shots. First, I'm going to cover the major con of the gun, which is the accuracy. Okay, this gun's accuracy is abysmal. Now, and if you go over the previous video I did, on a whole tirade about the stupid posts where people say you want a shotgun that's inaccurate. Well, you don't want a gun that's inaccurate. No one in the right mind wants a gun that is an inaccurate weapon. It's a stupid idea. You want something that's going to hit your target when you point at them. And the problem with the gun is about 60 feet, it's about a foot under target. Okay, that's pretty bad. You have to aim about a foot above target to hit it at about 60 feet. It has a range maybe between 35, 40 yards max. It depends on which one you have. They don't go very far. I think 40 yards might be stretching it, really. More like 30 to 35 yards. It's very close range. It's not very powerful, and you have to get a very large arc to even get to the 35-yard mark. So it's not very useful as far as accuracy or range. The range is very short. As I mentioned, and later on I'll talk to you about the pros, but it is good for only very close range. The accessories, you really can't add any. There is a video someone put online where they actually drilled holes in the top here, and they would put a rail on there. If you want to go that far to do that, you're taking a risk, of course, of hitting the mechanisms inside. But the problem is the barrel on the front is thicker than even an average shotgun barrel. So the barrel attachments you get, like the lights, laser sights, anything else you can actually wrap around the barrel, it really doesn't fit. They're too thick. I've actually had to do it by using plastic twist ties to hold them on, because the screws just wouldn't even go close to fitting around the barrel, because the barrel's just too large. And I had actually even reshaped the frame of the attachment, the rail on the front, just so it would wrap around, because it was too small to fit around this overly thick barrel. And the reason it's overly thick, of course, because they have 3 smaller barrels running through that shoots the 3 BBs. So you really can't add anything realistically. Normally you can jerry rig it, mess around with it, make it fit. It just looks a little awkward, but yeah, there's not much you can really add to the gun. It's pretty basic. The build of it, yeah, it's neat. It has some weight. Of course, they probably put weights in there to give it some more weight as well, get more realistic weight. It's though all plastic and doesn't take much abuse. As you can see already, it's wiggling right here. This is the most common problem. It wiggles right here where the pistol grip is, right behind the trigger guard, and it likely will, good chance it will eventually break off. And this is why I would recommend nobody buy a pistol grip one. The problem with the pistol grip ones, they look cool, they're great for small spaces, but when you cock it, you're putting all that pressure right here in this little section, and you're more likely to snap it off. I've actually seen a couple like that. They've actually just broke right off because you're putting all this pressure when you're cocking it right here on a gun that's not particularly well made in the first place, and it'll break it right off. So at least with the full stock, it actually distributes most of the strength, the power of the cocking and the effort you're making back through the buttstock into your body. So it's going to last a little bit longer than the just pistol grip ones, which will snap right off eventually, because you're putting all that pressure right here instead of distributing it backwards. So if you're going to buy one of these, I do recommend getting a full stock version, not a pistol grip riot gun style shotgun. The other problem I found with it is repairs or upgrades. They are pretty much non-existent. The gun breaks, well, you're going to have to buy yourself a new gun. That's about all you can do. You can open up the inside, but you can't get access to internals without tearing the gun apart. There is one website, the guy actually did do it, but you really have to put a lot of effort into it, and it's not, personally I don't think it's worth the effort. He had to take the whole gun apart and put it in a whole new frame and whole new body, and it's really not worth it, because once it starts to break, once you start problems, there's no way you can replace the parts realistically, and you're just going to end up throwing it away and getting a new one or a different gun. So in that case, yeah, it's not particularly user-friendly as far as repairs. So that case, I wouldn't recommend it either. So, but somebody's sitting there wondering, okay, what are the pros of this gun? Since you ran through a bunch of really bad cons, even though everybody seems to love this gun and recommend it. The pros, first off, is the cost. They're generally inexpensive. You can get them for like between $40 and $60. I mean, it depends how you consider to be inexpensive, but you can get them for $40, $60, and which means it'd be good for like a casual player or a secondary gun, a loner gun, something you use only in close combat, like inside of a building, very close range. So of course you're not worried about cost in that matter, or as far as range and accuracy. If you're going within about 50 feet or 60 feet, yeah, it'll work. It'll work fine. Outside, not very useful. Being as mentioned, it's very close range only. You're not going to get anybody any real distance, so it's kind of pointless doing anything outside. The look of it's kind of neat. It's got a pretty nice design to it, and the rubberized grips on it make it feel nice when you're using it. The shell magazines are neat as well. Unlike some of the other single shots, actually almost all the single shots use regular magazines that are inserted in the base of the gun, or internal magazines. This one's kind of neat to have the shell magazines that load in the bottom, so it looks like you have real shotgun shells. So it kind of is like a cool factor as far as its looks. But when it comes about, that's about it. I mean, it's good for casual players, it's good for close range, it's good for some very close CQB battlefields, but that's about the only purpose this gun would really have, because its cons, personally, it outweigh its pros. It has too many issues that are not really usable. I mean, I still use it. I used it only a couple weeks ago at a place nearby here. And yeah, it's fun to use, but it has too many issues. If you really want to play, make an effort into playing, and you like shotguns like I do, I would recommend getting a single shot instead, or a gas one, something that has a little more range and accuracy than this does. This is good though for an occasional player, backyard player, or someone who just wants a backup weapon. So that's about the recommendation I can give for this gun itself. Now, compared to the action single shots, it's not even close. I know the big name is, oh, you don't want a single shot, you want a Trishot, you want something that looks like a real shotgun. Well, I can tell you, this doesn't look like anything like a real shotgun. When it fires the 3 rounds out, they pretty much go in a triangle pattern. They don't scatter. Very rarely do they scatter. You have to really mess with it. I know some players who use different weight BBs to make it scatter in different directions, but really they all go into a triangle pattern. They stay close and they don't go very far. Versus a single shot, which will go further, it has more strength, it has more accuracy. So if you're looking for a shotgun that you actually will hit something with regularity, I would go with a single shot over a Trishot. Yeah, again, Trishots are fun, but their accuracy is absolutely terrible. They act nothing like real shotguns, despite the fact what you might read. People say you want one that has a scatter gun, it shoots. This doesn't act anything like a real shotgun. It really does not. This is actually a single shot, acts more like a real shotgun than a Trishot does. They're just a fun toy to play around with when it comes down to it. If you have any more information know about the accuracy and the targets, my targets have disappeared on me. So you can refer to the last video I did on the S&T 870 shotgun. It goes over the targets I use with the Trishot, and you can see the accuracy difference with the Trishot versus a single shot shotgun platform. As far as spring guns, especially for someone on a budget, if you're going with a spring gun, shotguns are about the best option you can get. Pretty much the best option you get. And the best ones I would definitely recommend are single shot, but if you insist on having Trishot, if not for the looks, but for the shell magazines, and you can do it pretty much just close range, then yeah, they're good for that. They just won't last particularly long. They don't take too much abuse. As far as spring guns, yeah, the internals will probably last, but the outside kind of gets beat up pretty bad, and you really can't add anything to it. But for an inexpensive gun to play around with, you know, they work, they're good, and they are, for what they are fun to play with. So this is probably about, hopefully, the most honest review you're ever going to see in one of these. Most of the reviews, they all praise them, and they talk about how great they are, and blah, 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 blah. I'm trying to give you more of an honest assessment of someone who shoots real guns, as well as hunts and plays airsoft. So these, again, don't act like real shotguns, but they are fun to play with, but don't expect them to be exceptionally accurate or in having real range or distance on them. So hopefully that helped, and I hope you have a great day, and I will see you again soon. Thanks. Bye.